after we hang up, because it's just exactly what's been on my heart is the fact that you have to water the relationship that we're in. Sometimes we do become disillusioned and we think, oh, well, I should end this. And we'll talk about that more, listeners, if you stay tuned. But I think that's a perfect way to kind of wrap that up, guys. The grass isn't always greener. On the other side, it is green where you water it. Or another way that I like to think of it energetically is where your energy flows or your attention goes, your energy flows. So if you put attention and love into your relationship, it will return to you tenfold, I really believe. And normally this would be the place that we say goodbye, but quickly, just feeling the energy of Nettie, and we haven't talked about this ahead of time, I felt like it was really important to do a reading with you today. And I don't normally do that with all of my guests, but I wanted to do that, and we'll keep it quick and we can go into it more when we have some time later. But I wanted to give you an overview really quickly of some things coming up for you in the year. So I had pulled a few cards and just been praying about it since I've been in the studio. One of the words, I know I keep saying it throughout the show, balance, 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 but that's actually one of the things that came up for you. And the key for that, for you moving forward for the rest of this year, is letting go of some emotional hurts and things like that that have been going on within your own spirit. And one of the ways that your angels really are pointing you is connecting back to nature. I know that life gets hectic, but for you, that's such a release. And your angels are really saying, like, it's time to do some outdoors thing. Summer's going to be an amazing time for you where you're going to feel very lifted and light. Financially, you're going to be feeling lifted and light. One of the things, too, that's coming in is Mary Magdalene, which is the teacher that awakens inside, and Supreme, and, you know, sister and mother and all of these things. And so it really made me think of you. I thought, this is no coincidence. You have important things to share is what your angels want you to know, Nettie. And you need to follow your inner call and not let anything stop you. And what I know about you is that you don't let anything stop you. And a final little tidbit, and again, we'll go more personal when you and I just speak by ourselves, but it's very important for you to remember that you are supremely protected right now, because the beginning of this year has felt very rocky for you and very,
oh my goodness.
yeah, very kind of calamitous. And it is going to ease down. You are protected. Cords are being cut. And when I think of cords being cut, I think of Michael, Archangel Michael, and it's time to move beyond limitation and to trust. So no harm or anything like that will really come this way. Even if it tries to come in, it will be blocked and it will be protected. So I just wanted to leave you with that, knowing that you got to get yourself outside, ma'am. That's a big deal for you, okay? It's time to reconnect and get grounded, especially with that Gemini energy. You have that air energy. Grounding is very important, and that's why you really feel centered when you're camping and doing. Listen, y'all, I grew up in Florida, and Nettie's from Jersey, and she camps in the summer, and I just look at her with the side. I don't know how she does it, but she does it. She camps in the mosquitoes and the rain. God bless America. I was a Girl Scout, and it was fun, but I remember thinking, Lord, I just want to be somewhere where it's cold. So for you, Nettie, it's very important for you to get back out there, and you will. And as you reconnect with nature and with earth, you will start to feel a sense of calmness come back over you, and there will be something newborn in you this year. And I'm not talking about a baby. I'm talking about some ideas and a message for you to help people with. So you're going to be kind of carrying your own torch and doing your own teaching in your own capacity. We all have a platform wherever we are, whether it's at your workplace or whether it's with your family. People are looking to you to be an example. Okay. So that's going to really come up for you this year. So before we go, if the listeners would like to get in contact with you or ask you any questions, how can they do that?
They can Facebook me. My Facebook is Nereida Cuadrado. It's Nereida, and the last name is Cuadrado.
All right, guys, and I will have a beautiful picture of Nettie and her husband up, and you will be able to find her and link her right from my Facebook if you have any questions. So, Nettie, I want to thank you so much for coming in and being honest and sharing a little insight about how we can make it to our own 20 years. I so appreciate you taking the time, especially while you're doing all your mom duties right now. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. That was fantastic. I think that we all, through what we go through in life, sometimes have beautiful things to offer. And that was a beautiful offering. And so again, I thank Nettie and send her wonderful energy for the rest of her day and for the rest of her week. Now, when we got started, I was talking about the 5 stages of love. So we're going to go over those really quickly again. Falling in love, becoming a couple, disillusionment, which is stage 3, creating real and lasting love, and then the final stage, using the power of 2 to change the world. Now, when we're falling in love, there's this whole soup of emotions and all kinds of hormones and dopamine and oxytocin and serotonin and testosterone and estrogen, a soup of chemicals that are going on in our body. And it feels great because we project all of our hopes and our dreams on our lover. And we imagine that we will fulfill all of the desires and we'll get all the things we want. If we want children, or if we want to be a power couple, or if we want to build a home together, we can work on that. And we're sure when we fall in love that we'll remain in love forever. But we're not aware that reality is knocking at the door. So if you've been in love out there, that's what it feels like. It's kind of crazy. And it makes me think of this great quote by George Bernard Shaw. And it says, when we're in love, we dismiss other curmudgeons like Mr. Shaw, who said this, quote, "When 2 people are under the influence of the most violent, most insane, most delusive, most transient of passions, they are required to swear that they will remain in that excited, abnormal, and exhausting condition continuously until death do them part." I howled when I read that because it made me think of one of my friends who, when she is in love, she calls me and she says, "Monette, I'm exhausted. I'm tired of shaving my legs. I'm tired of not sleeping. I miss sleep. I miss my bed." All the things that you miss, because when you're in love, you forfeit it all. "I'm tired of living like a crazy person. I feel insane when I'm at my job," she says. And that's so funny that's when we're like, till death do us part. Should we feel like this forever? Well, no, you're not going to feel like that forever. That is very an integral step that is done for evolution. Whether you're in a same-sex relationship or a heterosexual relationship, you are bonding at that time so that you can create family, whatever that family looks like. Okay. And however you create family, adopting, having, surrogating, family is created because you're like, I just want to raise something with you. You're so awesome. And that's part of what's happening. Stage 2, becoming a couple. Many of us reach stage 2 and long for the crazy hormonal stuff that I just talked about from stage 1. And at this stage, our love deepens and we join together as a couple. This is a time when we have children, we raise them. And if we're past the childbearing stage or we choose not to have children, it's a time when our couple bond deepens and develops. It's a time of togetherness and joy. And we learn that the other person likes and what they don't like. And we expand our individual lives and begin to develop a family life. During this phase, we experience less of the falling head over heels in love feelings. We're more bonded with our partner. We feel warm and cuddly. The sex may not be as important as it once was, but it's deeply satisfying. And we kind of feel safe. We feel cared for, cherished, and appreciated. We even feel close and protected. We often think this is the ultimate level of love, and we expect it to go on forever. And we're often blindsided when we get to stage 3, which is disillusionment. Now, we want to stay in that stage 2 spot. But the beauty of love, and a love that can last 20, 34, 50, 47 years. This morning on my Instagram, I saw a post from Deepak Chopra, and he said, 47 years with my wife, Rita, my beautiful wife, Rita, and I'm still in love with her. He's exercising pragma. He's saying he's in love, but what they've done is they've stood in love and exercise pragma, which is that pragmatic love. I've chosen to love my wife. I've chosen to water my grass so that it appears and is green to me. But let's talk about stage 3 real quick. No one ever tells us about stage 3, guys. Understanding love and marriage. Stage 3 is where the first couple of relationships can maybe fall apart. And then as you grow up, or maybe if you're on your first one, you might think like Nettie and Victor, let's take a step back for a few months and figure out who we are, because you really feel like you might be losing yourself. You really feel like there's problems. You think, you're not the person I married. I don't even like you that much. In fact, I'm wondering if I love you, and I'm wondering if I can stick this out. And so you have to go through that stage, guys, and a lot of relationships get there. What happens at that stage is a lot of people get divorced, or they separate, or they decide to find somebody new because they want to recreate stages 1 through 2 and think, well, that's what love feels like. Love doesn't feel like this thing where I'm looking at you with the side eye in the morning and I don't want to get your coffee, or I don't want to be kind or extend any nice graciousness to you. That's where you have to stick and stay. There's the old adage, when you're going through hell, keep going, don't stop. This is true of this stage. The positive side of stage 3 is that the heat burns away a lot of our illusions about ourself and our partner. There's a blessing in the disillusionment and realizing who we really are. It also surfaces a lot of the traumatic memories of abuse or neglect or abandonment that we've experienced as children. And we work through stage 3. We heal our present problems and our past traumas, which are also at the core of many of our present conflicts, even with our partner. We tend to, in life, act out. As a preschool teacher, we learned that dramatic play was very integral in forming the way that our boys and girls viewed the world. And what they were doing a lot of times is acting out things they'd seen at home. You would be surprised how we are very much impressed upon by our family surroundings and how we will carry that out in relationships. So we have an opportunity in stage 3 to become more loving and appreciate the person we're with, not the projections that we placed on them as an ideal mate. So go through stage 3 when you're going. Stage 4, creating real lasting love. After we confront the unhappiness in stage 3, we get to the core of what causes pain and conflict. And so there's nothing more satisfying than being with a partner who really loves you for who you are. When you've made it through the disillusionment and they really love you for who you are, that is such a sweet spot. They understand your hurtful behavior is not because you're mean and unloving, but because you have been wounded in the past, and still sometimes that lives within you. And as we better understand and accept our partner, we can learn to love ourselves more deeply. And stage 5, using the power of 2 to change the world. No one has to remind us that the world is not doing too well right now. And I think that this is really important to say. If we can't find peace between two people who love each other like you and your partner do, then what chance do we have to create a world that we can make work for all the people living in it? So I want to look at the flip side of the question. If we can learn to overcome our differences and find real, lasting love in our relationships, perhaps we can work together to find real, lasting love in the world. Every couple has the opportunity, once they've powered through stages 1 through 4, to use the power of 2 to address some aspect of the world's problems that touch their lives. Just like I said to Nettie, you have a platform where you are, and you'll be called upon in familial situations to be an example of peace and other things that are coming up for her this year. And her marriage will be called upon to offer that. And that's because they've powered through. Doesn't mean every day is perfect, but what it means is they've made a choice to have pragmatic love, to embody pragma and to stand in love. And when I'm thinking about standing in love, quite literally, the thing that comes into my mind is my favorite animal totem that reminds me of my relationship, and that is the sandhill crane. Here in Florida, you can see these sandhill cranes slowly lolloping about, just kind of strolling along. Beautiful legs. They kind of almost look like an ostrich, but not really. Okay, not like an ostrich, guys. Don't kill me. They're gray, and they're big birds. They're kind of prehistoric looking, and they really are. And they've been long associated with royalty and balance and grace and longevity. And they can often be seen standing in shallow water or standing on one leg. And their beautiful dance also speaks to their incredible sense of balance and grace, and that's one of their mating dances. And the thing is, I see these cranes whenever I need a reminder about being healthy in my relationship, or whenever I need to be reminded that I'm in the right relationship. I call them my birds. We call them our birds, and we can be with each other apart and we'll see those birds and we'll point it out to the other one. There are birds, because these birds mate for life. And I want to tell you something as we get into this month of love, as we're underway. You can enhance love areas in your home via feng shui. And I talked to you about people that do that, and you can Google and find resources. But if you walk into the door of any room in your house, or even your house, your love and romance corner is going to be the right furthest corner. If you put your right hand up, it's the furthest corner in the back. And one of the things you can do to enhance it is put things that mate for life in that corner. A